Hi,
Hello,
Edith.
Marco. How are you? You all
Good.
ready for Shabbos?
Almost have to
Almost? Oh,
change to my
not
shower's
wearing a
clothes.
tie. You put a tie.
Hmm? Sorry?
And you need a tie.
Hmm.
Okay.
The thing is, are you ready for Pesach?
It'll start without me if I'm ready or not. No,
That's true.
pretty good. We're pretty good. We're eating Pesach food tonight.
We have two.
Yeah.
Harold,
Hello.
hello.
The Three Musketeers are here.
Okay. Oh, 1 second.
Well, this blood he can do in 3 minutes. Uh, yeah, it's a very, very, very short one, but I don't know if he wants to attempt the next
Well,
one or
from
he
the
wants to
Mishnah,
do it 50 today, but then
you
51.
go. You learn during the Yom Tov too?
No, I don't think so. Well,
No.
maybe a couple of days in Chadamoy. I
Well, I'm like,
think
okay,
so.
but yeah,
Yeah. I don't think in Yom Tov unless he wants to go to shul, but I won't be here. Many people won't be. Harold, you're gonna be in, no, you're not gonna be in town, Harold. You are connected, Harold. I can't hear you. Are you talking? The best is shut off, turn off the iPad and start again.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Oh, no, you're there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Okay.
I kept trying to connect to my AirPods.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Many times you have to pair them again.
Yeah, yeah. Now, let's find Ernie.
Oh, he must be unplugging some pipes. When I call him, he says, I'll be there, I'm there.
Right. I'll be yeah, I'm always almost there. Almost there.
Oh, no, that's Walter.
Oh.
Hello.
Are you, he shouted something. Harold, I know.
Yeah.
Velvo,
Good Erev Shabbos, yeah?
something's not right with your lens on your iPad or
camera.
something.
Yeah, let me see if I can fix it.
It must be the cigars,
Must be that they disturbed my
the lens.
yeah, something happened. I don't know. I don't know where the lens is, so it doesn't help me.
What is it, iPad?
It's a bit better, yeah. It's better.
Now you're not there.
We should
Hello,
There you are.
everybody. Hello, everybody.
better now.
Hello,
Hello, everybody.
Wo bist du?
I'm in my backyard.
Oh, how do
No.
you say, how do you say backyard in German?
Ich bin in mein
Garten.
Garten.
Mein Garten.
My kids, my grandchildren are here, so they've been swimming every day since
Oh,
they
nice.
got
That's good.
Take advantage.
So listen, I'm going to be at my daughter Ariella's house for Shabbos because our house is Pesach Dik and hers is not. And she's coming over for Pesach, so we're having Shabbos there. So I'm not teaching at Young Israel. I'm going to teach at 9 o'clock tomorrow night.
Okay,
DAf Yomi. Okay?
okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay, now it's
we
a
are
very
on
short.
Nun Amid Aleph.
Yeah,
50. Iboilu. We're dealing with the dinim of oina, undercharging, overcharging. The halacha is whether it's regarding the value of the item itself, or whether so if you either underpay or overpay what intrinsically the item is worth.
Ernie, can I ask?
It's
Can I ask something?
probably based on market forces. Okay, but we're going to see. We're talking about large items where there can be fluctuation in price. So the halacha is for small items. Let's say you buy a dozen eggs and there's a set price for that. Even if there's the standard price for a small item like that is a certain thing. If you've overcharged or undercharged by even a tenth, there's a din ona, and you can. So the law of a sixth is only of objects where it's not large objects, but something that is sold by count or weight. Then there's ona even. I mean, that's the whole concept of having honest weights. You can't weigh something. There's a certain amount per pound, and you weigh it, and you charge them a sixth more than even a tenth more, even a penny more. You can reverse and you can get that money back.
Yeah, because that's cheating. That's cheating
Ernie,
on the weight.
Ernie,
yes.
how can a seller be defrauded? He sells it. He's not selling it at less than.
But if he finds out that he undercharged, he made a mistake.
Okay.
So the seller has a right to get his money back regarding ona as well, if it's more than the sixth.
Okay.
If it's less than the sixth on those items, it's considered that he was moichelit.
Because you have a concept, it's not now that he sold it for. It's Olam Tod Koizer in business. That's what it is.
For the moicher. The
Yeah.
Lekeach only has that one day, according to Rav Tarfon, or the amount of time that he can show it to somebody. Exactly. The moicher can be chayzer no matter when.
Why are Chazal so involved in establishing how much money or how much profit a person can make on a transaction that both of them enter into? I mean, well, what's their role here?
It has to do with justice. It has to do with what's right. They want to keep society functioning the same way.
Nobody forced the guy to buy it. He bought it on his own accord. He probably did some research before, and he bought it. So he
was tricked. So the Torah protects him. Chazal protect him. He's the seller and the buyer is protected.
Abe, it's a good question. It's a good question, but we know ain't ona bakarka. On land, there's never any ona.
Because somebody might want to pay 10 times its value because it's right next door to him, or,
Yeah, but-
or a location or whatever. You're right.
Yeah.
Karka's a different story. There they allow,
but
somebody to pay more.
But Abe asked a good question, because if somebody wants to pay more because he really wants this piece of whatever it is, and the moicher can get much more for it because somebody really wants it. So why did the Chachamim interfere in that? That's what Abe's question is. They didn't interfere in land, but they interfered in metaltele, in other things. That's a good question.
I think it's societal. We've seen many times
But
that Chazal pass laws to make it, even though technically you should be able to get your money back, to protect loivin. If they're too strict, no one's going to lend money. So you understand? They for commerce and for orderly business.
Okay.
Okay. Iboilu pochus mishesus rabona. Right, we had a machlokas in the mission between Rabbanan and Rav Tarfon. Rabbanan allowed the loikeach only the amount of time to show it to somebody, and Rav Tarfon allowed a whole day. So the mistake was less than the sixth. There we said there was mechila. We don't overturn the transaction. We assume that both sides are moichel. La'altrav mechila? Does it happen right away? Or do we say, the mechila only occurs after he's allowed to show it to somebody. The intim saloimar, that the din is b'chtei shir l'tagar l'kroivoi, then ma ikid ben shesus, l'pachos mishesus. We said before that if it's exactly a sixth, then whoever did the trickery has to pay the difference. But if it's less than a sixth, we said that it goes ahead. If it was more than a sixth, you can go back on the deal or get paid your money back. So the Gemara wants to know what's the difference between a shasus and less than a shasus if it's the same halacha about going to show it to somebody. So the ikka, the ilu shasus, when if it's exactly a sixth, yodo ahel yona. Whoever was tricked, he has the upper hand. Ratza koizer. If he wants, he can go back on the deal. Ratza koinu machzor. No, he can. Let's say, like Walter said, let's say he wants the object, and then if he overpaid, he gets his money back, or he underpaid, he has to make the difference. Now, if it's pachas mishesus, if the difference in what he paid and the price and all that is less than the sticks, kona mekach vadai, the sale is a sale, but umaxra not, whatever party tricked has to give back whatever was, if it's an eighth or a tenth, but you can't force the transaction to be mevatim. So the question is mine. Toshma, so the sellers, wherever Rav Tarfon lived, were unhappy with Rav Tarfon, which gave them, even though Rav Tarfon extended the shasus, wasn't a shasus, it was up to a third. But the sellers were not happy because they had been given, the buyers had been given a whole day to go back. And that they didn't, so they went back to the Chachon. Now, whoever learned the Sugya Savrua, that Pachas Mishlish that if it was within a third, according to Rav Tarfon Kepachos Mishrasus Rabbanon done, is the same like what the Rabbanon said if it was less than a sixth, where it was Moichel. So so now we understand if according to Rabbanon the limit was until you can show it to somebody. And Rav Tarfon now we understand the sellers were not happy because Rav Tarfon had given them more time to check about the price, so they didn't want that. So they went back to the
Remy,
yes.
your
Yes.
internet is coming and going.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So if the mechila happens right away, well, Rav Tarfon namni la'al Tarfon mechila, and I'm chaser. If the mechila is right away and there's no period of time, then why did they change the period of time by which to check? They should have just stayed that way. Bitter Rav Tarfon nichlu tvei. They would have been happy with Rav Tarfon's din of having a whole day or having up to a third. Because the Maid Rabbanan Kamash V'lo Aina, the Chachamim said Aina is is only a sixth. Rav Tarfon Havia Mechil, and they get up to a third, where it could be Moichel, and they could keep the transaction even though they are overcharged up to a third. So the Gemara says, Mi Savris, who holds Shepachos Mishlish Rav Tarfon Kepachos Mishlus Rabbanon Dani? If it was less than a third for Rav Tarfon, it's not the same as less than a sixth for the Chachamim. Lo, Mishasus Bad Shlish, the Rav Tarfon, from a sixth to a third, Kishasus Atzmol Rabbanon Dani. It's exactly a sixth. Then he gets back his money. So Iachi, the My Samchu Mikar, then why were they happy initially? If they didn't really gain anything by Rav Tarfon increasing it to a third. Are we going to learn from there then? Tifshit, are we going to answer a shaila that we're going to be asking later on? That bitul mekach rabbanan lo'olam chayzer? That you're allowed to go back on the deal forever? Then we wouldn't understand the sellers of Lut, why they were happy that they switched to Rav Tarfon. Even though Rav Tarfon Abi Oina, if Rav Tarfon said it was Oina, and then Samchu, that they would be happy, and then Amr Lahu Kol Hayom, and they said it's only a day. If the Chachamim said it was forever, why would they switch back to the Chachamim? The Isa Gedaita Shabitul Mekach. If we say that reversing the transaction is only Bichdei Shil Tagar Lekroivai, the My Samchu, why would they be happy with Rav Tarfon Shita? So the answer is Shamchu b'Shesus Atzma. They were happy with the sixth, not that they didn't have to go up to a third, because Rav Tarfon Harei Mechul. There was Mechila all the way up to a third. According to Chacham, there was a no. That's why they wanted to accept, not because of the period of time they had to check, but the actual definition of what I know is, whether it's a sixth or a third. Iboilu. Bitul Mekach L'Rabbanan. When we say that it's, if the ono was more than a sixth, and we say according to Chacham L'Olam Chayzer, Do we say it goes back forever? Or Dilma, is it only Bichdei Shir L'Tagar L'Kroive? V'imtim Saloimar, and if you're going to answer me, it's Bichdei Shir L'Tagar L'Kroive, it's the amount of time it takes. By the way, the halacha is Bichdei Shir. Then, if that's the answer, Ma Ike Ben Shus Liesral Shtus. What would be the difference between exactly a 6 and if it was more than a 6? So the answer is Ike the Ilu Shasus. If it's exactly a 6, Mishas Nisana, the one who was tricked, then only he can be Choizer. But Yesral Shtus Shteim Choizrim. If it's more than a 6, both of them, the seller and the buyer, can go back. So my Toshma, the same case of Rav Tarfon. Chazrul Divrei Chacham. They didn't like Rav Tarfon, they went back to Chacham. Iyam Bishulma, that Bittul Mekach l'Rabbanan, B'chtei Shir L'Tagar L'Kroifa. That the Chachamim had a very short window where the buyer could go back, meaning the period of time to show somebody. And Rav Tarfon Kol Hayom, and Rav Tarfon gave the buyers a whole day, then I understand very well, Mishum Achri Chasru. That was not good for the sellers because their buyers could go back on the deal a whole day. But if you're going to say that Bittul Mekach Rabbanim was La'olam Chayser, if the buyers had the right to go reverse the sale forever, and Rav Tarfon changed it to a day, then Amai Chazru, why did they go back? They would have been happier with Rav Tarfon. So, but the Rav Tarfon Nichlu Tfei, the Kamach Lo'inah Kol Hayom, the Sulo, he limited the onah for that day only. Right? Well, that's part of the kasha. So, Bittul Mekach Lo Shchiach. The cases of transactions being nullified was something that didn't happen very much. What's the final halacha? Amarabba. Hilchasa, pachas mishasus. If the difference in what was paid or charged is less than the 6th, nikne mekah. The sale is a sale. Yoisra al shasus. If it's more than a 6th, bittul mekah. The transaction is undone. If it's shasus, exactly, kana, it's a good transaction, umachzroina. Whoever was cheated has to pay back the money. If the guy underpaid, or if he overpaid, whatever the case may be. When there's mechila, or bittul mekach, or oina, the shir is bichdei shir l'tagar l'kroiv. It's limited only until the time you show it to somebody. Tani kavatsa de Rava. There's a bright to support Rava. Oina pachas mishashus nikne mekach. If the overcharge or underpayment was less than the 6th, we don't do anything. Yes, Roshus, batal mekach. It's more than the 6th, we reverse the sale. Shasus, so exactly, kana umachzroi noah, eila div Rab Nasi. Rav Yehuda Nasi yad moichel al yoina. The seller has the upper hand. He can roitza, omer teili mekach. Give me my item back that I sold you. Or, omer yiteli mashananiti. Give me what I undercharged you. And so the seller has the time to make sure that he charged his buyer the right price. If he undercharged him, and it's within that period of time, he can say, give me my diamond back, or give me the money that really I should have charged. That's the halacha. Now, ad mosai muter lahachzir. We said in the Mishnah, the period of time is up until you have time to show it to somebody. This is what Walter was referring to before. That's the buyer. A seller can go back no matter what, even if he finds out a month later that he undercharged. He can say, give me my diamond back or give me the difference in price. Shulchan Aruch says, Shir Azman, Shenatan Lezvo No, or Bitul Mekach, B'koine, the buyer only has Kedei Lisho. Av Lamoicher, Choyzer B'nom V'Vatel Mekach Loilam. Now, if the item that was sold,
That seems to be a problem. What happens if the guy sold it already?
hang on. You mean the guy who bought it from him?
Yeah, he sold it already. He made his profit. He sold it. It has to be as much.
He's allowed to get the money difference from him. He shows him evidence. Listen, you paid me 1,000. The real value is 1,200. You owe me $200. There's a qualification in the halacha. It's a standard price. You have the time to find out what the market price is. And beyond that, you can't go back on it. Or if the seller is informed or finds out or he sees schoira that's similar, that was sold at a higher price, because then there's mechila. Now let's go back to the Gemara. Name a Messiah. Let us say that the following Baraisa of Rav Tarfon, where we said Chazru Divrei Chachamim. If we say that the basic halacha in the Chachamim was that these sellers could go back at any time. Mishamachi Chazru, because Rav Tarfon limited them to only one day. But if you tell me the moicher was like the lokeach, my nafkalumino, then why would they want to go back away from Rav Tarfon? Rav Tarfon made the takana to both parties the same. The merchants of Lud did not make, it was not common that they made a mistake. So even if there was a limited time for Chazara, they weren't bothered by that. Ushpezichna de Rabbi Bar Chama Zavin Chamra V'Tov. Rabbi Bar Chama used to stay at a certain inn. And that guy sold a donkey and he made a mistake in the price. Rami, who was staying there at the inn, saw that his balabait was unhappy. Why are you unhappy? I sold a chamor for $1,000. I found out it was really worth $1,500. I'm unhappy. So Rami Bar Chama said, go get it back. Either take your donkey back or get the money. I waited too long. Let's say that, I don't know, whatever that period of time, let's say it's half a day. Let's say it's a day. And it's been more than that. So Shadri Lekame, Rav Nachman, the case was sent to Rav Nachman. And Rav Nachman responded, the limitation on time is only for the purchaser of a moicher, lo ilam chayzer. The moicher can always get his money back or get his object back. My timer, loikeach mecho biyad is a svara. The purchaser has the item. Wherever he goes, he shows it to people. People will tell him, "Oh, you were overcharged, or you were undercharged, or whatever." But the moicher doesn't have it anymore. He gave it, he sold it. Until he finds out right? It takes time. That's the svara, why the seller gets longer time. He had some straps of silk to sell. He announced that he's selling them for $6, but they were only worth $5. So it's more than a 6 difference. It's 20%. But if they gave him 5.5, he would have taken it. Also, Gavro. So a certain smart aleck came. V'amar, he said to himself, so if I would have offered him 5.5, 550, it would be within a 6th, and it would be a moichel, and I can't get my difference back, right? If we said if it's within a 6th, the sale is a sale. So etain leishis of veladina. I'll pay 6. He was ready to pay 5.5, but he thought that doesn't make sense. Let me pay him 6. I'll take him to din. I'll get a whole $1 back instead of 50 cents. Also, come to Rav. These rules are when a buyer buys from a merchant. You're buying something from Balabayis, ain't no love. There's no no. Like if you buy something from somebody's home who's not in business. So Ahu Gavir Davinoket keeping Lizvini. He had jewelry, but it wasn't a merchant. Kari Shasim, he was announcing, I'm selling them for 6, but Shavi Chamshin, they were only worth 5. However, in his mind, he already had made a plan that if somebody offered him 5.5, he would sell. Also, Gavir V'Amar, same story. If I give him 550, there's mechila, and the sale doesn't, nothing happens to the sale. Eiten leishis of his boladina, I'll overpay the 6, take him to din, I'll get the whole $1 back. Those rules are only when you buy from a merchant. There's no no. Yosher, I agree. Yosher. There's another Mishnah. There's only no for everybody. And man edyot, isn't it la balabayis? Rav Chizda, no. It's sadraisa. That's flax, where everybody sells them, even balabati. Avamani tashmishte diakriyele. But things that a balabais uses that are important to him, lo mazben lo ilav bidmeyasiri. He won't sell them unless he gets, extra money because he doesn't want to sell them. And any buyer should understand that if he's buying from a balabais, that you're going to end up paying more because he likes those items, he uses those items. It's a big loss. You're going to end up buying more if you buy from an estate sale or someone privately, as opposed to a merchant who's in business who has to sell at market price. I think that answers some of the questions that people were asking me. Okay, let's stop here because I've got to go to my daughters. We'll learn maybe a blot and a half tomorrow night. See how we do.
9 p.m.
Very, very interesting material.